Hello, Facebook world. I was wondering if I should close the window because it's rainy and loud, but I love the sound of the rain. So, hi Debbie, welcome. Hello everybody. Come on in. I don't even know. I wonder how many of these you've done now. Is it 7? 8? 7, 6? I don't need to count. RJ Taylor, hey buddy. Melissa Jacobson James is here. I know the rain's lovely. Is it too loud? I can totally shut the window if it's too loud. So if it's too loud, somebody toss that in the chat because I'm happy to close the window if it's distracting. Oh, we got hearts. This just brings me so much joy. We're just gonna wait one more minute to have more people join us. I'm so excited everybody's here already. This is just one of the highlights of my week. There's so many of you here already. Hello. Okay, nobody commented that the rain is too loud, so I'm assuming that it is not too loud. Hi everybody, welcome to Tea with Tina. Per usual, I am not drinking tea, but I'm drinking Spindrift. We know that, brand ambassador. Ding. I'm really glad that you're here. Welcome to another lovely Tuesday edition of Tea with Tina. I hope everybody is safe and well, and I'm seeing on Instagram that lots of people are enjoying sunshine today, while up here in Minnesota we just get lots of rain, but it was 73 and sunny here yesterday. It's our first glimpse of 70s. Like, winter's over. We have passed our second and our third winter and are moving now into actual spring and summertime, which is amazing. So I'll not complain about a little bit of rain today. That means even more flowers will be blooming on my walk tomorrow, so I'll take it. I'm really glad that you're here, everybody. For those of you that have not been to Tea with Tina before, welcome. I'm Tina Van Steenbergen. I'm a professional public speaker. I'm a member of Alpha Gamma Delta. And since I can't get on a plane and come visit you in real life, Alpha Gamma lets me go live on their page once a week and hang out with you. And it brings my extroverted heart more joy than I can articulate with words. My favorite part of Tea with Tina, hands down, is when you chat in the comments back and forth and love each other and say kind words and support one another. Because my mission is to help women feel less alone. I want people to feel less alone. So gentlemen in the house, you're still important. You matter a lot. But all of the work that I do in the world is to help women feel less alone. So chat away. We're gonna have a couple in-chat discussions as we go today. So per usual, toss in your questions as we go through and keep talking to each other because that's the best. It's the best part. Today, I wanted to talk to you about trust, kind of. So let me tell you a story. It's the best way to start. I don't know if any of you, this is a fun question to start with. Have any of you started to take on sort of like responsibilities in your household as a part of this COVID-19 quarantined lifestyle? Are there things that you maybe did every once in a while, but now that we're all home all the time, you find yourself doing all of the time or sort of being in charge of in your house? Toss your answers in the chat. Hello, Sarah, I'm glad you're here. Please have coffee. Michelle, don't you ever apologize for that. Coffee is necessary. I have stepped into the house chef role in my home. That has been my quarantine. Well, that and puzzles have been my quarantine projects. And it wasn't even something I was asked to do. It wasn't like we didn't have like a conversation about now that we're home all the time. How are we going to like divide labor? Who's going to do what? Like we just sort of fell into it. We had a rule in our house before that I did the laundry and James did the dishes, which is a ratio that is working out lovely for me as we eat every meal here, but wear the same clothes every day. I'm winning. So because James always does the dishes, I just sort of like stepped into the cooking role, just like became the house chef. First of all, it's been really fun. I didn't know I could cook. I can cook, y'all. I'm like good at it. Like the food that I'm making is delicious. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know that because you see it every day. And it's really, my grandmother is like a home chef. My aunt is a home chef. And my mom has always sort of been self-deprecating in this department. She always talks trash about herself. She's like, oh, I can't cook. She can cook. Turns out I have also been the person that's been walking and been like, oh, I can't cook. Turns out I can cook. Turns out. So it's been fun to learn that about myself and to know that about me, because then you have the confidence to like try new recipes and get creative in the kitchen, which is really fun. But the other thing that's been happening as I step into sort of this home chef role is I feel, thanks Kelsey, I really appreciate that, is I like check in with James, right? Like, hey, we're gonna have pork tonight. Do you want beans or sweet potatoes? Do you want a sweet salad with fruit today, or do you want a savory salad today? And just, he's the only other person I'm cooking for, and so I just like check in with him. And that happened a couple weekends ago. Friday night, we went to bed and I had visions in my brain of this like deliciously drizzled cinnamon roll with bacon for breakfast. That was what I thought I was gonna do. Hi, Natalie. And I told him about it because I had bought cinnamon rolls at the grocery store. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. And by mistake, I mean best decision I've ever made. So I bought these cinnamon rolls at the grocery store, and I told James on Friday night that I thought Saturday morning when we woke up, I would make cinnamon rolls and bacon for breakfast. My husband has never met a cinnamon roll he did not love. So this was not a problem for James. He was very excited. And we went to bed and I woke up, and as soon as I woke up and started thinking about breakfast, I started thinking about like these deliciously fluffy, cheesy scrambled eggs with that same bacon. I just woke up with like a savory craving. I usually do. Savory is my move, most times, but certainly with breakfast. James has never had a savory craving in his life. James is a dessert person. James is a chocolate person. James is a sweet person all of the time. So as soon as I woke up and wanted scrambled eggs, I felt guilty, I think is the word I would say. It's like, oh no, James wants cinnamon rolls. I told him we'd have cinnamon rolls. I feel terrible. And then this other little voice in my brain was like, but wait, maybe James also woke up with a savory craving. Never. But I convinced myself that if I presented him with the options, he might choose the option that I wanted, which would be a win-win for everybody. So we were in our bedroom and he was still in bed and waking up and scrolling. And I said, do you want cinnamon rolls and bacon for breakfast? Or do you want like fluffy, cheesy, delicious scrambled eggs and bacon for breakfast? And his very sleepy self was like, cinnamon rolls sound good. I was like, oh no. Backfire. And then I immediately responded and was like, but don't scrambled eggs also sound delicious? Really swinging for the fences over here on a Saturday morning. And he responded, he like waited, there was like a solid 3 seconds of silence. And he responded, he looked right at me and he was like, if you knew what you wanted, why did you ask me? What an excellent question, my love. I knew what he wanted. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. I woke up that morning and knew what I wanted to make for breakfast. So why did I check? Why did I ask? The very simple surface level answer to that question is, I want my person to be happy. I want my human to be happy. I want him to enjoy eating what I make. And so I check in to make sure that what he's eating, that vegetable that we have with pork, the salad that he eats for lunch, I want to make sure that he enjoys it. I care about him. Except James is not a picky eater, first of all. God bless. And second of all, he is grateful. Because James hates to cook. Hates to cook. He finds it to be an enormous waste of time. Why would I spend 60 minutes cooking a meal that it takes me 15 minutes to eat and then another 30 minutes to clean up? Has always been his philosophy. Which means he would be eating cereal for 90% of his meals if I wasn't here cooking for us. So it does not matter what I put down in front of him. He is nothing but grateful. He is grateful and gracious, and he eats it and says, thank you for making dinner, my love. I really appreciate you. Every time. James is already happy. Not because I check with him about the menu, not because I cook his favorite foods every single day, but because I cook for him and he's grateful. So he doesn't need me to check in and be like, what do you want today? So am I actually asking to make him happy? Because it seems like he's happy already. I'm asking because I don't want to let him down. When I very first ever in my life lived alone and I started cooking for myself for the first time, the guy I was dating then came and visited me and made came to visit me to have the dinner that I was going to cook for him. And I was so excited to like do the Susie Homemaker thing and like make our first meal together as a couple. I was so excited. And I put this meal down in front of him, and he tried really hard to eat it. And he ate most of it, but he is not an actor. And it wasn't good. I knew that because I was also eating it. And watching him eat a meal that he did not enjoy felt like trash. Cooking something for someone that they don't like feels like trash. Cooking for something for someone and failing at it feels like garbage. Failing feels like garbage. I don't want to fail my person. I don't want to let them down. I don't want to cook them a meal that they're not going to enjoy. I don't want to fail. Now, I think there's another layer deeper to this conversation, but I think failure is a conversation worth pausing on. James is a keeper, you're right. Where are you afraid you're going to fail your people in your life? What are the areas of your world, in work, in quarantine, in family life, in relationships, in friendships? Where are the places that you fear you're going to fail your people or let them down? I want you to toss some of those in the chat right here for a minute. Because I think we all have areas that we feel afraid to fail in. And I don't know if we talk about it very often. So. Where do you feel failing? Where do you feel concerned you're going to let your people down? Oh, Marie Ford Palmer's here. Hello. Ooh. And trying to be there for everybody that we care about, but only being one person. Suzanne's talking about being a career mom, work-life balance. I know that's so real. And we're not doing enough for our people. Yep, that's valid. I'm getting some retweets over here. I find it happens with a lot of silly stuff in my house. Like, James does the dishes and I do the laundry, but then I accidentally shrink a shirt that James loves because it's the first time that it's being dried, and I feel like such a terrible person. And it's laundry. It's just a shirt. Like, but I like carry that guilt around for like the next 3 days because I feel terrible that I failed at laundry, which is like my job in the house. Oh, Jenny, feeling like I have all this time now to get stuff done, but I'm not getting it done. And so that makes me feel like a failure. Digital learning, for those of you that are homeschooling right now, when you didn't go to school to be teachers, and if you did, you went to school to be teachers for someone else's children, not your own, which turns out is a different thing entirely. Yes. Yes. Oh, Denise, that's a really powerful question. Like, you've been taking care of your children your whole life, and when do we have to swap out? And when do they have to take care of us at some point? When do we start parenting our parents? That is a very real thing. But also, like, outside of my home, I just don't do things that I know I'm not going to be good at, right? Like, I will go watch karaoke all day. I find it a thoroughly enjoyable experience. And sitting at my little table with my little bourbon, I will sing my little lungs out because everybody else is doing it. But am I going to get up on that microphone and do a song? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, I'm not, because I don't think I'm a good singer. That's not the point of karaoke. It's not the voice. But I know I'm not going to be good at it. And so I don't do it because I don't want to fail. I do things that I know I'm good at. I cook the things I know that I'm good at. And even when I'm trying something new, I check in with my person to make sure that if I try this new thing, I've got some love coming from the other direction, right? I think failure is one of the reasons that I check in about silly little things like scrambled eggs versus cinnamon rolls. But I don't think that's the deepest layer to why I'm asking that question. I think there is one layer deeper, okay? James doesn't care. James doesn't care what we eat. James is grateful to be fed. That's it, right? So why do I ask? Because even if I got his permission to make scrambled eggs and then I burnt them, it would still be a failure, right? Also, his permission. I think we do this a lot. Women especially, but humans in general, I think we do this a lot. We have a gut reaction, instinct in our bodies, in our brains, in our hearts. And hang on, we get an instinct about how to respond to somebody in crisis, about what we want to make for dinner, about what we're wearing to go to the show, about ways to respond to an email, about is that person make me feel comfortable or uncomfortable, right? We have gut instincts about everything. And when it comes time to make a decision, let's say about an email that we want to say, we're like responding to an email with the people that we work with, right? I know in my brain I have an instinct, a gut reaction to what I want to say. And then I call 5 people, 5 friends and family members and say, okay, so here's the situation. I got this email from this colleague, this person responded, and then this person responded and made me feel some type of way. So here's what I'm thinking about saying in the email response. What do you think about this? We try on an outfit that maybe is a little outside the box for us, but that we feel good in, but we don't know if we look good in it or if we just think we look good in it. So we take a picture of ourselves in the outfit and send it to our children, to our friends, to our spouses. Does this look good or am I crazy? Is this too tight? Is this uncomfortable? Am I looking like I'm trying to be 13? Am I like trendy? Is it too much? Is it not enough? There's somebody in the office that gives us gross vibes. So we check in with 7 other people who work in the office. We're like, do you get weird vibes from George? And if they say no, then we are convinced that we're crazy or that we must be imagining it. We just move on. If our 5 friends that we call about that email we're going to send confirm what our instincts were telling us, we feel really validated and powerful when we send the email. But if they say, I don't know if I would respond that way, then we start to rethink everything about the way that we wrote the email in the first place. Maybe we don't even decide to respond. We send out the text message with a picture of us in that outfit in the dressing room, and if nobody responds within 5 minutes, we take the outfit off, we put it back on the hanger, and we put it back out in the store. Because what we're looking for is feedback. What we are looking for is crowdsourcing. And yes, Natalie, exactly what you're saying, we are looking for validation. We are looking for someone to confirm that our instincts are correct. We are looking for someone to say, you're right. And if enough people say, you're right, we'll believe them and send the email, buy the dress, make scrambled eggs. First of all, women especially are skilled at collaboration. We are good at seeking out other voices at a table. That's one of the reasons why women make excellent leaders in companies, in organizations, in places of worship. Like, we are good at involving and collaborating. And so seeking out other people's voices is never an instinct I'm going to tell you to ignore. I think it is a gift of ours. I think it's impressive. And I think it's a way that we involve more people who are oftentimes not heard. However, why do we need somebody else to confirm we are right when we know we're right? When we know what we want, what we believe, what we care about. There are times we genuinely don't know. In which case, ask for all the feedback and all the help you want. It would be silly not to reach out and ask for feedback and ask for help from people when you really don't know what to do. But if we really think about it for a second and pause and sit with ourselves, there's a pretty good chance that we do know what we want to do, what we believe, what we think that email should sound like. We don't trust ourselves. We have explicitly been taught not to trust ourselves. And not like in the sense that we grew up and everybody was like, you're probably pretty dumb, so make sure you ask for feedback about every decision you make in life. I really hope nobody talked to you like that in your life. That's not often the message spread to us, but often the message spread to us is that women tend to be fairly emotional. We're pretty hormonal. Can be a little judgmental, a little mean. And so I don't know if we should trust women. When I was a small child, my mother said to me, boys are dumb and girls are mean. Pick one. And she was not asking me to pick a sexuality, because that's not how it works. She was talking about the people I spend my time with, like my social circle. Boys are dumb, girls are mean. Pick one. Dumb sounded a hell of a lot easier than mean. So I spent all of my time with boys, all through grade school, all through middle school, all through high school, all through college, until much later in my life when I learned that friendship with women is really powerful. People say this about little girls, that little girls are bossy, or that they're mean, or that they're cliquey, or that they're catty, that they'll try to steal the person you're dating, that they'll talk trash about you. Don't trust women, because if you tell her that about yourself, if you get vulnerable with her, she's probably going to turn around and tell all of those other girls about it. We are taught not to trust women. But we are women. So if I was taught that women are emotional, if I was taught that women are hormonal, if I was taught that women don't always have the best instincts, or women aren't always the kindest, don't all of those things I've been taught about women then apply to who I am in the world because I am a woman? We start to internalize the negative things we've been taught about all women to ourselves. Maybe I'm just being hormonal today. Maybe I'm just really emotional. I'm a pretty sensitive person. Maybe I should check with other people who aren't as sensitive as me before I make this decision. I think we've been taught not to trust our own voices. We've been taught, I don't even know if we've ever been taught to listen to our own voices. Like, I don't even think you have an impulse and you're like, well, I'm probably pretty dumb, so let me check with 10 other people. But you hear your impulse and immediately feel the need to seek that validation, to get that permission, to get somebody else to tell you that you're smart, or that you're good, or that you look nice, or that you're right. I knew I wanted scrambled eggs, and I asked. I think we want other people to validate us because we want to make sure that we make the right decision. We care. We know that our decisions impact other people. And we want other people to get on board with them. Again, that is a leadership instinct that I think is valuable. And I'm never going to tell you to stop asking for other people to engage with you. But I think there's got to be a balance between the two extremes of I make all of my own decisions, I never check with anybody else, I just follow my own instincts and let everybody else go to the wayside. And every single decision I make, including what restaurant I eat at, what sweater I wear, and what collar my dog puts on, I check with other people about. I think there can be a middle ground. And I think, for me at least, that middle ground exists in understanding that I do have a voice, and I do have some instincts. And that while, yes, all of the humans in my circle are brilliant and kind and smart, and I should trust them and listen to them, I'm also pretty smart. I'm also pretty kind. And I'm not wrong. There's a million authors who write about this and call it different things. For me, I think it's about trusting your gut. Your gut is smart. Your gut is correct. Your gut has great instincts. That doesn't mean that she's right 100% of the time. But she's pretty smart. And I think she probably has some good things to teach us. She probably has some good instincts. I really want to, in this quarantine, but in the world in general, want to spend some more time listening to the voice in my own brain. And if I want scrambled eggs, I'm going to make some scrambled eggs. And if I want to wear an incredibly cozy, warm leopard print sweater on a camera, even though you're told not to wear large patterns on a camera, I'm going to do it because it's chilly out and the sweater makes me feel cozy. I didn't even ask my husband if I should wear this before I put it on today because I am nailing this. I think we can do it in very little ways. And I think when we do it, we start to build more trust in ourselves so that when it's time to make some of those larger decisions, like what's best for our kiddos, like how to lead a team of people, like when to let somebody go or give somebody negative critiques or feedback. I think when we start to make those little tiny decisions, then we start to trust ourselves more in the bigger decisions, in the stuff that we're facing outside and inside of our homes, our work lives, our social circles. You are smart and brave and capable, and also have a gut who's really smart. Women's intuition is a real thing. And I think when we learn to let our intuition be smart and to give it a microphone, or at least turn up the volume in our brain a little bit. I think it can impact our lives and the lives of the people that we live with. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to trust myself a little bit more. And I hope that thinking about these things can help you trust your gut a little bit more, because she's smart as hell, just like you. So that's what I have for you today, friends. But I also want you to tell me, what are some of the areas in your life that you want to listen to yourself more often? What are the areas you're really good at listening to yourself? What are the specific areas that you have a hard time listening to yourself? And then I want you to ask some questions. What are some of the questions that you have burning about this conversation about trusting your own self? So toss some stuff in the chat, and if you gotta go enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I'm really glad you were here. Go trust yourself. You're smart. Oof. Giselle, that's really smart. The self-esteem component of it, right? I saw somebody put in here that they weren't taught negative things about women. I freaking love that, and I want to give a high five to the people who raised you, because some of us did not have some of those voices in our brain telling us negative things about women, and that's amazing. But our lack of trusting ourselves doesn't necessarily have to come from that. Maybe it comes from being taught not to trust yourself in general, right? Self-confidence issues, self-esteem in general, not being sure of yourself. And the self-confidence part is part of the reason that we pause, crowdsource, get feedback from so many people, because we don't feel confident in ourselves and our own decisions. That is very, very real. Get your cook on, Carol. I love that. I'm having a lot of fun. Did you know Pinterest is alive and well? Pinterest is killing it. I'm finding so much information on Pinterest. So many people keep saying, Tina, will you make a cookbook of your quarantine recipes? No, because it's on Pinterest. Everything I'm making is on Pinterest. That's all you need to know. So Google it on Pinterest. You'll find it. What thoughts or questions do you have about this, ladies? Or humans in general? Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Pinterest, y'all. And then I'm nowhere near to owning a home. We live in an apartment. But the home stuff on Pinterest is also outrageous. People do some really beautiful things with their home. Yes, Carol, I love that. I love that. That's an interesting thing to think about, is how can we teach this in young women, right? Like I told you, I was pretty sure that I was a bad cook because I watched my mom say she was a bad cook forever, and she was great. And now I'm full on becoming my mother. I am my mother, full on. In my 30s, have learned that I am my mother, which in my opinion is pretty dope, because she's one of the best women I know in my life. But also comes with some baggage, right? Like thinking I'm bad at things that I'm actually really great at, just because I've never been, I just don't necessarily have, my mom didn't have the confidence in herself, and then I observed that behavior and took it on myself, right? Or like body image stuff, right? Like my mom would never have said anything negative to me about my body or my appearance as a child. She was incredibly kind and careful with us in that department, but would always talk crap about her own body. And then that would turn out to be problematic. Like I would then interpret that and be like, well, my mom's saying those things about her, then so how can we model this for our little ones? And the men too. This is not a specifically women issue, right? My husband does it too. We do it to each other all the time. It's just in different places, in different pockets. We have different areas where we crowdsource or ask for feedback. It's fascinating. We got comments now. Yeah. That's real. We just talked about it's easy when you're with trainers or people higher up in the field to trust them as opposed to yourself. That's a very real thing. Yeah. And we live in the world of social media, right? Like validation's it. It's what we do. Like it is teaching, like I've been taught that a picture of myself is more or less valuable based on how many people tell me it is more or less valuable, right? The comments and engagements I get on social media teach me things. The validation has become a way that our brain identifies positivity or goodness. And so much of it is taught outside of our own brains. And I don't want to resist it fully because frankly, validation feels really great. And when I ask 5 people, should I send this email? And they all say yes, then I feel like a badass. And I send that email with so much confidence. So validation certainly has its benefits. I just don't want it to be plaguing to us, right? I don't want it to keep us from being able to do meaningful things or to being able to trust ourselves. Can we trust ourselves? Can I post that picture on Instagram knowing it's a good picture regardless of what the world says about it? And then also still enjoy the validation that I get from it? I think that's the goal. That's the goal. Oof, Natalie, that's real. That is so real. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Christina, wow. Yeah, that's real. Thank you for sharing. I hope that you are healthy and okay. But yes, going through any sort of trauma or challenge physically, right, will teach you a lot about trusting your own instincts in your body. Because, right, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, right? Like some of us, because of the way our bodies look, because of the color of our skin, we get different kinds of medical treatment, right? But we know what's right or wrong. And we know when something doesn't feel right, even if we're not a doctor. And the doctors are looking to us to say, does this feel right? Is this helpful? And so trauma and struggles and challenges with our physical bodies can teach us a lot about how well we know our bodies and learning to trust our own instincts. So that's badass side effect. And I hope that you are healthy. And thank you for sharing. That's really great. Oh, this is amazing. Well, I'm sorry, I'm reading all the chats. I'm sorry we're sitting in silence. I'm reading all the chats. It's pretty great. I just love when y'all talk to each other and support each other. This is really special. I guess I want to leave you with this. I want you to give yourself, I want us to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt a little bit more often. That we're not making wrong decisions, that we're not making rash decisions, that we're trying our best, and that sometimes our best is enough. And keep crowd surfing, keep asking people's opinions, especially when you need them. But if you wake up in the morning and you want scrambled eggs, make you some scrambled eggs. And if you want cinnamon rolls, get cinnamon rolls. And if you want, oatmeal, get it. Preferably on a cold day. I feel like I don't know how to eat oatmeal in the summertime. But I think we can all do a little bit more to trust ourselves and to listen to our voices. And I hope that that is what you leave with today, that you catch yourself making decisions and trusting your own instincts. So that's what I'm going to do leaving here. And I hope that it will be helpful to y'all also. I'll be back next week. I got great stuff planned for the rest of our time together. So I can't wait to see you next week. Thank you so much for being here. Share the video. Keep chatting to each other in comments. Tell people to come watch. I love this little sisterhood time that we have every week just to pause and be together and talk about stuff that we all go through in our own ways. So I'm really grateful that you're here. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Please keep chatting, but I'm going to end the live video here in just a second. So thank you so much for being here, everybody. Have a great week. You're welcome, everybody. Christina, we're sending your daughter all of the love and wishes. She sounds like an amazing human being. All right. Thanks, Carol. I'm glad you're here. Thanks, Natalie. I really appreciate that. You all have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. See you next week.